All right, hello everyone. So the warm-up for today is how is a real car different than a model of the same car? So go ahead and press pause on the video and answer this in your notebook, and then press play when you're ready to continue. All right, one way that a real car is different than a model is size. A real car is going to be much bigger than a model car. Number two, a model car you're not going to be able to drive. There's different other reasons that they're different. So if you would like to share what you wrote down, please come and see me and we can talk about that. All right, let's go ahead and get on with the lesson. So your target for today. Today I can apply a scale factor to determine new measurements by scoring at least a 2 out of 3 on my exit ticket. So here's the exit ticket review. That's a separate video if you need to watch that. And here's another little warm-up. So here's different places we have scales again on a map. We talked about that the other day. So this problem, let me move this over just a little bit. It says, Roberta and her family drove from Flagstaff to Tucson. The scale map below shows the route they took. If the road traveled is a straight line, how long would the road be in miles? The distance on the map between the two cities is 2.6 inches. Use the scale to set up a proportion. So this, once again, we're going to want to use two different colors. So when I look at the measurements, the first one is in inches. So I'm going to label that as inch. And I'm going to write that in pink. And I know that that's 1 just from this number right here. So the other measurement they give us is miles. So I'm going to put that here. And it says 100 miles. So 1 inch is equal to 100 miles. If you look up in the actual word problem, it gives us some information. It says the distance on the map between the two cities is 2.6 inches. So we have that in pink. So I'm going to put that in the same line, 2.6 inches. And they want us to figure out the actual mileage in miles. So that's where my unknown variable goes. So I'm going to use the same strategy we've been using for all proportions. I'm going to multiply across and then divide by what's left over. And today it's just 1, so we're not really going to need to divide. So I come over and I type that in. So I have 100 times 2.6. And my answer is 200. So x equals 260 miles. That's how long the family would travel. All right, let's go to the next one. So the next problem, the distance between two cities on that map is 3 1/4 inches. On a map, 1/4 of an inch represents 12 miles. So this is the actual scale that would be given to you on the map. What is the actual distance? So, actual distance is what we drive, so that would be miles, between the two cities. Change fractions to decimals. So the two measurements we're going to use is we're going to use inches and miles. So if you look here, they've already set it up, and you can use this table if you want, but it's okay if you set your own up also, so I'm going to set my own up. So what I know is 1/4 of an inch. I would rather work with decimals, so I know that 1/4 is 0.25. And they said that that is equal to 12 miles. So I put my 12 miles right here. Then it tells me on the map that it's 3 1/4 inches. So I go back to my green color. 3 1/4 is just 3.25. And I'm trying to find the actual distance in miles, so I put an X there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do my same method. Multiply across and divide by what's left over. So we come to the calculator, we just type it in, and we'll get the answer. So we have 3.25 times 12, and that gives you 39. So I go down to the next line, I hit answer, and I want to divide that by 0.25. And my answer is 156 miles. So x equals 156 miles. So that's the only problem that this asked me to find, so I'm not going to fill in these other boxes right now. So the next question. On a map, the scale is 1/4 of an inch equals 25 miles. On the map, the distance between the two cities measures 5.5 inches. What is the actual distance? So when it asks you about actual distance, that's always in miles. When you talk about how far something is, you'll say, oh, I live about 10 miles from the school, or we're going to drive 250 miles today. Actual distance is always miles. So the two measurements that we're going to look at is we're going to look at inches and we're going to look at miles. So when we label this, we use the correct words. So I have inch and I have mile. So I see that the inch is 1/4. So we've already talked about that being 0.25, and the miles is 25 miles. So I label that together. Then on the other side, it tells you that the distance between the two cities measures 5.5 inches. So that's going to have to be in pink on top. 5.5 would be 5.5. And we want to find the actual distance. So that's my x value. So we multiply across, divide by what's left over. So we have 5.5 times 25. Then we come down and we want to divide that by what's left over, which is 0.25. And we get an answer of 550. So x equals 550 miles. All right, here's another question. A map is drawn using a scale of 1/2 inch is equal to 2 meters. If the length of the bridge on the map is 20 inches, find the actual length of the bridge. So here, the actual length is going to be measured in meters. So that's what we're looking for, is meters. And the other measurement is inches. So when I label this, I'm going to have inch over meter. So it says 2 meters is equal to 1/2 inch, which is just 0.5. And then on the other side, it tells me that it's 20 inches, and they want me to find, well, how many meters is that? How long is this bridge in real life? So now we just use the same method. Multiply across, divide by what's left over. So 20 times 2. Some of this you can do in your head, but just to check and make sure. I know that 20 times 2 is going to give me 40. And then I'm going to divide that by 0.5. So I come down to the next line, divided by 0.5, and my answer is 80 meters. So the bridge is 80 meters. You always want to include your unit just to make sure that you give the complete answer. All right, so we're either going to be working now on the MathLibs activity, which will be in your Schoology folder, or if you're in class, we'll work on that together. All right, thank you guys for watching.